Hello and welcome back! Or if you're new here, hello, my name is Philocalix and I like to play and build on The Sims 4, which is why today we're here with another speed build and we're doing a cafe and laundromat this time. It's sort of two separate buildings, sort of one building as it is on one lot, and obviously we still can't split up lots in a way that we can have multiple community lots in one lot, if that makes sense. However, we are building a cafe mostly, and the laundromat is kind of a extra thing that I added because I'm actually not even sure if your Sims can go and take their laundry up to a laundromat on a different lot. I do believe that you sometimes can put the laundry in the inventory of your Sims, but I'm not sure how that would work because I'm pretty sure a hamper doesn't have an option to just empty it and add it to your inventory. But I might be wrong. I haven't really played with laundry in a long time. However, like I said, we're making a laundromat and a cafe here because obviously there's no laundromat kind of community lot, and also I think it would be a bit boring, and I don't think your Sims would really be using this lot if it was just a laundromat. So a cafe seemed like a more useful community lot and more, or well, better use of the amount of lots we even have in this game. So that's what we're up to today, and I also had a little outside place for your Sims to sit there with, well, their pastries, their coffee, whatever, and a bit of a place for kids to play. I think it's just the monkey boss and the sand pit, so if you have island living, I believe it's required, your Sims can play in a sandbox too. So that's kind of what we're up to. I think I already said that. And I made it kind of tall buildings to give the impression that you could live above here, but just like we don't have the option to have multiple community lots in one lot, we don't have the option to add residential areas on top of them either. But if you do have for rent the pack, which I do not, you could choose to make some apartments above this and have it be a residential lot instead. Or you could possibly make it a retail lot and add an apartment on top, something like that. But I opted to keep it just empty upstairs. And now we're working on the outside still. I made the buildings and I added some parking lots because I feel like that is quite realistic in a community lot, even though we obviously don't have functional cars, nor can they actually drive around. And usually the lots don't even look like they could have cars on top of them, though I do think it looks like you could have your cars drive over the sidewalk and then up to the parking lot. And I'm curious, do you think we'll ever get working cars in The Sims 4? I totally understand that we're not gonna have an open world, even though there are tons of modders out there. Tons of modders? I think there's one or two modders that made or are working on a open world. But I don't think that EA is ever gonna give us that for The Sims 4, which is totally valid because if you play The Sims 3, you know that takes a lot of power from your computer to function, and it would have been nice if we could have had the option to have an open world or have it the way it is now, depending on your specs. But I totally understand they went for this route, and I'm not mad about it, and I don't feel like the loading screens are that bad, though they used to prevent me from actually going to different lots, but not anymore. I really don't mind that much anymore, the loading screens, but they usually don't take that long for me anyways. But I'm just wondering that if maybe just like bikes and horses, they will let you drive cars in, you know, their neighborhoods a bit, and it would be nice if we could at least just have cars in garages for, I guess, decorational purposes. Obviously, we do have the debug cars already, which is nice, but it would be nice if your Sims could just click on them and travel that way, because I feel like that would be a nice addition, even though it doesn't really make that much of a difference. And I believe that in one of the games this was actually the case. I'm not sure if it was one of the PC games or if it is a mobile game, but I'm pretty sure that in one of the games you have by default a car in front of your house and you can click it to travel. I haven't really played The Sims Mobile or free play in a couple of years, honestly, but I believe it was one of them that had that option. So I think that would be a nice addition, but I think that if they would be doing something like that, they would probably turn it into a kit or stuff pack and not a base game function, which, well, it is what it is. Anyways, we're getting pretty close to finishing the inside of the laundromat part. There's not a lot of furniture, or not a lot of different furniture in there, because obviously, well, it just needs the laundry machines, and I put a little front desk situation, so to give the idea of you actually paying there or like changing your coins, because the laundry machines actually have, with one of the swatches, a little coin situation, or at least like it looks like it has a coin slot, so I chose that swatch, obviously. And here I'm working on a bit of a playground situation, like I described earlier, that your Sims could play in the sand, and there's some toys out there, and there's the monkey bars. And now we're moving on to the actually cafe part, which also is pretty simple, pretty basic, which I think is fine because it doesn't need to be all over the top. I did consider using the second floor because I ended up not having as much space as I thought I would be having. But I just put down, obviously, the espresso bar with the espresso machine and the grinder, because that is the main part of this cafe. And I put down some tables and some chairs, so your Sims can enjoy your pastries and the coffee or other kind of drinks there, and just chat with some Sims, get to meet other Sims, so that's always nice. I do think that for the cafe lot type, you do need to have get together, which is definitely the case for the espresso bar. That all comes with get together, so if you don't have this pack, I'm afraid you won't be able to use this lot. You could of course turn it in some kind of bar if you want to, but I think that get together and laundry day packs are essential to be able to use this lot and download it from the gallery and have it function properly, or at least the way it was intended. Also, I did add some woohoo spots behind the laundromat. We will see that later, but I added those closet wardrobe things because I feel like that is such an important part of every community lot. Your Sims do need a woohoo spot, because chances are that the only reason you're leaving your Sims house is to woohoo. Also, I tried to make a bit of a more roof situation here, but I ended up just having it flat because I couldn't figure out how to make it look better. I did add an extra floor, I think. That is also a bit of a struggle. I thought I would keep it in so you can see the realistic part of trying to build a build, and all the struggles that come with it. Because I also like watching other Simmers struggle with their builds, and especially if they end up figuring out the way they want it to be and just making it work. I always like watching that, and it also makes me feel like I'm not the only one who is sometimes struggling with their builds. I think we're getting pretty close to finishing this build right now, because I'm putting just down some further exterior pieces, some landscaping. I chose to have these 3 guards from the debug section. Oh, and this is the outside part where we have our chairs and tables. So your Sims can enjoy the sun when it is sunny. It is built in Newcrest. You can put it in any lot, but I feel like Newcrest doesn't always have the best weather if you have seasons. So not sure how much you will use the outside though. In the summer time, it might be nice. So just finishing up the exterior, kind of filling it up because it was very empty and sad looking before, and I feel like plants always help. And I was just adding some posters here on the laundromat wall because I felt like that was also a bit of a pouring spot. which is honestly fine. It doesn't need a lot. Like I said, it's just a laundromat. It's not that big of a deal. And I also put some benches. Oh, and this is the part where I added the woohoo spot, because I was looking at the landscaping options and I noticed this woohoo bush, and I was like, I don't think I can make it work without it looking really weird. And then I realized that we have other options for woohoo spots, so I added the wardrobes. And now we're off to some screenshots, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I want to thank you for watching. And if you did enjoy it, I would like to ask you to maybe give it a thumbs up, maybe even comment and subscribe to my channel so you won't miss another video. Thank you again, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!